Hi everyone, this is Yashvi Patel and you are watching my YouTube channel. So nowadays we deal with a very large data sets like 2 GB, 5 GB, 10 GB or a 50 GB. When we have data sets larger than our RAM, like we usually have 8 GB or a 16 GB RAM, we cannot load that much huge data set into our 16 GB RAM. So what can we do? Obviously we cannot afford over 16 GB RAM. At least I cannot, not even a virtual one. And I know there are so many people who struggle with large data sets. So I created this video in which I will discuss how we can load such huge data set in our usual RAM, like 16 GB RAM. So enough of the theory. So let's get directly jump into the code. So method number one is changing the data type. Data type tells compiler or an interpreter that how programmer intends to use the data. So the primary data types in pandas are integer, float, object, category, date time, time delta, and boolean. Int or a float are further divided into int 8, int 16, int 32, int 64. So we degrade from int64 to int32 or int16. Int8 ranges from 0 to 255. Similarly, int16 ranges from 0 to 65535. Let's say you have a column which values only ranging from 0 to 255. Why you need int32 or int64 for that? By default, sometimes the data set type is int64 or int32. You don't need to give that much memory to that column, so we degrade that column data type so that it consumes a less memory. So here I'm showing the memory usage before degrading. So it's using my 14 GB memory. Okay. Now I change the data types. You can see I change the category from the object from int64. I change int32, and this all the object I converted it to category and specify this parameter d type is equals to my custom d types. Now I don't want to use default one. So, and also I converted this date into date time. So if you see, after degrading, my memory reduced to 3.1 GB. You can see the difference, right? Or you can create one function who can check which type of my column is and degrade according to your need. So the method number two is reading in chunks. Reading in chunks might be slower than reading all of your data, but yeah, it will consume your less memory. So you can use pandas p.read csv and specify this chunk size. Like I have specified it 1 lakh and read it. I divided it into the chunks, and now I am reading by each chunk each time and concatenate this into the new data frame. And if you see the train.info, it's 1.8 GB. You can see the difference from 14 GB to 1.8 GB. So the method number three is using Dask. People who are new to data science or just started learning data science might be unfamiliar with Dask, but it's okay. I also got to know about Dask when I find out the limitations of pandas. So what is Dask? Dask uses parallel computing and provides us an easy way to work with a large data sets or a big data with minimal extra effort. You can also use GPU with Dask to speed up the process. You can see Dask as a pandas for big data sets or a big data. So you can use the Dask as Dask.data frame as DD. Just like pandas, you can dd.read CSV and the name of the CSV and data type, that is D types. And if I show you my memory usage, you can see my memory usage is 1.3 GB. So it is consuming my less memory and also it is faster. So I don't need to worry about anything. Like in pandas, you use train.price.mean. You just have to add this dot compute function. It's as simple as that. So method number four is using data tables. Data table is a Python library to manipulate data sets, or you can say to manipulate the big data sets. Because it uses multi-threading approach. It's if you are familiar with R's data table, it's similar like that in the Python version. So it's a toolkit to performing big data. You can handle up to 100 GB using data table in a single node machine. So this is so cool. In a single node machine, if I can handle 100 GB of data, it's definitely cool. So to use it, you can import data table as dt and you can read it dt.fread, and in the arguments you can pass your path. So the method number 5 is QDF. QDF is GPU equivalent to pandas. Using QDF, you can leverage the parallelism that GPU provides. To use it, you can import QDF. You can use it qdf.read csv, and you can see it loaded my data set in 2 seconds. You can see the memory usage is 2.9 plus GB. Memory usage is higher a little bit, but it is way more faster. So the method number 6 is always delete unused variable. Luckily, we have garbage collector in Python. We just have to import garbage collector gc.collect. It will wiped off my unused variables. So the method number 7 is use the debug mode when doing feature engineering. So in feature engineering, we do lots of experiments, we do lots of operations on data. So don't do it on a whole data sets. Do it in some number of rows or some chunk of data. So you can use this debug true. So if debug, you can use the n rows 10,000 and data types as data types. And if you are not debugging, now you are sure that you did all the feature engineering right. Now you can do it you can load else train data type and perform all of the operation in whole data set. So use debug mode when doing feature engineering. So last but not the least, saving the data frames or objects as pickle files for faster loading. So after completing some steps or some feature engineering, save it to pickle file. It will definitely help you to faster your process or to consume less memory or less time. So this is it for today. Today we learned how to load data sets larger than our memory. If you guys know the techniques other than I discussed today, you can comment it in the comment section. And also I will provide the link of my notebook in the description so that you can refer. And yeah, if you like my video, then do not forget to like, share and subscribe my channel. Until then, bye bye.